So the Project 76, moving on, starting to make a bit of headway with this now. I think the last time you looked at it, we did the dry build, the front panel, inner wings, 2 outer wings, the eye panels all positioned using screws and clamps and such like. Disassembled it, and with a couple of little bits of extra prep on a couple of the panels, not much, just little bits grinding off here and there, just to ease the process of putting it back together. We're now in a position to start putting some final welds on there. I'll take you off the tripod and give you a couple of minutes tour of how far I've got. I did do some stuff off camera because it's very easy to get carried away. You know, it's down to time. You have a couple of, you know, odd 10 minutes here and there to do stuff. You just don't have time to set the camera up. You just got to get in there and nail it in the time that you've got. But let's have a look. So went with the inner wings. I've started stitching along this top of this bit of fresh metal here, and then stitching up there. It's quite difficult to weld new to old. Don't know what it is about old metal, seems to burn through a lot quicker. So I took my time. I repaired this area here as well, just behind the shock mount. I cut that all the way through, even though I probably didn't need to. I got some quite big thick steel in there and welded that up, so that's proper solid now. So this inner wing is welded on, as I say, welded down there. I've got a bit of reshaping to do on this bonnet gutter trough here. So there's different heights and things like that, but a bit of grinding and a bit of filling with some weld. I'm also backing up the, as best I can. It's a bit of a dodgy cut down there on the double skin of the original, so I'm welding a single panel to a double skin panel close to this reinforcement gusset. So it's a little bit tricky to get in there, but get as much weld in there as I can, try and get some decent penetration, grind it flat, and a bit of seam sealer. I don't think you'll notice that. I haven't done the inside of the driver's side one yet, but you can see some of the penetration coming through from the weld on the outside. I haven't ground that down yet. As you can see, it's a bit blobby, but I was trying to reduce distortion whilst getting some good penetration without blowing big holes in the panel. And it's amazing how that's really stiffened these inner wings up. I think you get a bit forgetful of how temporary those tech screws are. Another little bit of welding I've done is this bulkhead area. Nothing to do with the restoration of the shell, it's to do more with the fact that I'm operating a cable clutch for the micro engine, and this bulkhead metal is exceptionally thin and flimsy, and I didn't realise just how flimsy it was. So I've got some quite strong tread plate steel. I'll show you the inside in a second, and then this micro clutch cable bulkhead bracket will nut and bolt through there, and hopefully that'll reduce the flex. If I need to, I can always supplement it with some extra reinforcement on the inside. I'll just show you around the back of that for anybody who's interested. Needs a bit of welding in there, a bit of cleaning up. Doesn't look very attractive there at the moment, but I will clean it up, and I'll probably put some sound insulation, thin insulation matting on there, like a bit of that which I did on my folding sunroof, so you won't even notice that on the inside. So yeah, so that's welded on. So I welded the panels on. I also did a dog leg to the micro subframe, which you may remember in a previous video, to miss the alternator or crank cog on the end. You can see how that's been. I've got some metal exactly the same thickness, and I cut that out. That was the piece I cut out. Still got a bit of welding to do on the underside of it, but I'll do that when I've got the subframe out. So yeah, bulkhead done, inner wings welded on, bit of dressing on there to do, and I've got the front panel bolted onto the subframe through its 2 bolts, so that gives that position there. I marked on there with a black pen where the edge of the bonnet is, so I could get these inner wings to hit the right spot. I've got some decent height. Well, I haven't got too much of a gap between the top of the front panel and the inner wing on both sides, so I'm pleased with how the inner wings are approaching this front panel centrally and symmetrically. I've got clamps everywhere though again, because as soon as you start welding things up, you lose a lot of the flexibility that you'd get with just a dry build on the tech screws and clamps and things. But you can see how the inner wing now, there's 2 brackets there. That one there I moved across a bit, which you could see on the previous video, just to pick up this inner wing. You can see how my black marks around the brackets are reassembling in exactly the right place. So I can get some plug welds through these holes. If my arms don't clash with anything, I might put a few spot welds in there as well with the spot welder. I'm going to try and weld this together as much as I can. I might be able to weld down there as well, if I can get this bit of a gap closed up. The other side has got the, stop clutching the camera, it's got the full bracket, so again plug welds and spot welds there. And I might be able to run some bits of weld down there. So yeah, that was the screw I used for relocating the inner wing. So yeah, all seems to run down in a line. There's no real kink kind of that way. It seems to run in line with what was left of the original inner wing. So it's all going okay so far. So I'll finish off the weld on the inside there, and then I might as well just start welding this front panel on. I've got to have faith in my dry build, as there's no point in doing a dry build, and then I can get these outer wings on. Yeah, I'm going to start blobbing some welds on this assembly now, wherever I can, just so I can get the clamps off, and then move forward, have a look at the outer wings. So yeah, watch me put blobby welds on. So we've got the 4 welds you can clearly see penetrating through there. Put a little blob in there for now, just to hold this panel in its front to back position. Same there, front to back position. You're going to have to learn to ignore me. Unfortunately, I've cocked up again. So yeah, discount what I just said about going round and blobbing welds on to hold the front panel on. Take the bonnet off and show you why. So, previous footage, I attached the front panel via, get it all the way around, 4 plug welds there on that bracket. 4 plug welds there on those 2 brackets, and then I said, well, I blobbed the inner wing onto this slam panel there. You can see there where the blobber weld is for the inner wing onto the slam panel. Don't do that. The reason you don't want to do that is it takes away any flexibility in this front panel and these inner wings. You have to rely on the fact that these brackets here, each side, are quite flimsy, which helps because it allows the front to remain flexible whilst you try and attach the 2 outer wings. To get these seams lining up around there and get the correct distance between the inner wings to get a decent bonnet gap, you need the flexibility. So don't weld this to that until you've got the outer wings on. Just repaired this A panel. Did it on the TIG welder just so I can get a bit more control. Need a bit of dressing down. It looks alright. Right, as you saw by that speeded up comedy video, I've got the panels back on now, all prepped, ready for spot welding and any other kind of welding. I just thought I'd show you the gapping. So back of the bonnet up against the scuttle is good. Coming down that wing to the bonnet is good. It's pretty constant and parallel down there. I've got it nice and flush with the front there on those two faces. Fought with this one a little bit. Got a couple of washers behind there at the moment, just bringing this front panel out a touch, but it's not too bad. The joints along there are okay. Coming around to the wing and eye panel, the sweep of the arches isn't too bad, maybe a touch out, but that looks okay up to there. That gap looks pretty good. I've tinned in there, by the way, so I'm hoping to be able to lead load in that groove if it sticks. So going around to the other side again, sweep is good. Looks good up to there. Now the door gaps should be as we've previously seen on a previous video, because I've screwed the eye panel into a fixed position, and that gap is good round there. And that's the repair I did at the bottom to get that to flow a bit better into that area. So yeah, cool, pleased with that. It all looks good. Just got to sort the spot welder out now.